Welcome to Inside Design with Kandrak and Cole. This podcast is a conversation between two business partners, Joanne Kandrak and Kelly Cole. Join us for a lively conversation about all things interior design, from current projects, trade show experiences, worldwide travel, what's in, what's out, and all the challenges and wins they've had running their successful design business. Whether you're a seasoned interior designer, new to the industry, or a creative enthusiast, you will walk away with insightful information, newfound inspiration, and a smile on your face after listening to these two. And here they are, Joanne and Kelly.
Hey everybody, welcome to Inside Design with Kandrak and Cole. This is Joanne Kandrak and this is Kelly Cole. And today we're talking about how interior design affects real estate. Yep. And with us we have Kathleen DeWitt. She is a real estate agent in Charleston, South Carolina. So if you've listened to our recent episode about styling for photo shoots, you know that we just finished photographing a beautiful home in Kiawah Island. We love that area. And that is one of the areas that Kathleen works in. She works with Acres Ellis Real Estate, and they provide real estate and rentals in Kiawah Island, Seabrook Island, Johns Island, and the greater Charleston area. Yeah. So they specialize in vacation rentals, ranging from one-bedroom villas to large oceanfront homes.
Yeah.
So we're excited to talk to her today.
Yes. It makes me crazy when I look at all these listings and they're not well designed, and we could just go on and on. So we're going to get her input on all of that. I'm excited. But first, we want to let you know that this episode is sponsored by our friends at Design KC, Kansas City's inspiration and resourceful luxury home publication. As the definitive consumer and trade journal of the most exceptional architecture, custom and remodeled homes, interior projects, and fine outdoor living in the area, Design KC strives to show readers how to live their best life, no matter where they choose to live. You can find the latest issue of the oversized publication. It's so beautiful on newsstands and at high-end showrooms in Kansas City. And you can always read it online at mydesignkc.com, where you can look at hundreds of articles, design ideas, watch bonus interview videos, and fly-throughs. Flip through their digital editions, sign up for the newsletter, and especially check them out on designkc_magazine. So you might be thinking, why are we talking about, Kansas City? It actually is one of the most beautiful regional magazines. Yeah. Kind of like Atlanta Homes and Lifestyles and Atlanta Magazine Home are truly the same quality as national magazines. So it's definitely one to tap into. And if you want to subscribe online, use code LOVEDESIGN1 for a 1-year subscription. It's five issues for them, and that's only $10. And then you can use Love Design 2 and get a 2-year subscription or 10 issues for $20. So I think, is that right? For $20? Yeah. So check them out. They are a beautiful magazine, and we're going to be judging their upcoming design interiors competition coming up.
Some
so we're psyched.
Amazing designers in that town. They really, really do.
They really do.
Yep.
Who would have thunk it?
I know. So let's go ahead and introduce Kathleen. She has been in real estate. She began in 2012, but she has spent over a decade at the Kiawah Island Golf Resort before joining Acres Ellis. Acres Ellis is the number one MLS company on Kiawah Island. So she has great connections with people. She has a very keen eye for design. She has really an outstanding track record. This is pretty amazing. She has sold over $200 million in real estate just since 2020.
Go girl.
Yes. So she's been awarded Salesperson of the Year 2015, 2016, 2018, 2020, and 2022. That is impressive.
So when we retire in Charleston, which we're going to do, we'll just call Kathleen.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. But
Please.
when she's not busy selling real estate, she loves spending time with her family. Her husband, Ronnie, they have a 10-year-old boy and girl twins. They have very active lifestyle. They also have a very special fur baby named Skipper that you will see sometimes on her Instagram page. So welcome, Kathleen. Thank you so much. Is this your first ever podcast?
It is. It is my first
is.
ever live podcast. Yes.
Okay, great. Well, let's go ahead and start with how did you even start into real estate? What got you there?
Well, I do have a background in luxury hotel business, and I spent, like you mentioned, a decade at the Key Island Golf Resort. And so I truly enjoyed meeting new people all the time at the front desk and in property management at the resort. And it was able to get me not only to meet the people in person at the front desk, but then actually to get into the properties when I worked in the property management as well. And I figured if I could pull that all together and maybe sell some of the property myself, then that would be a positive outcome, because we always saw all the real estate agents coming in and driving fancy cars, and I wanted to be them. And,
Kiowa Island Club
like
is so amazing. Yeah, it's amazing. I've been many times because my one of my very dearest friends has a home there, and I'm constantly visiting her, and it's just incredible.
It's such a beautiful area. How lucky you are to work, around that.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
So are you concentrating on a certain sector of Charleston, or where do you spend the majority of your time?
I primarily spend my time on Kiowa. I would say about 85% of my sales are coming from Kiowa. Now, it's definitely more of the secondary home market. So we have the people that, are not as busy with like worrying about the interest rates and things like that, because they have more of the discretionary income, which is helpful for me. But I do spend some time also on Seabrook, Johns Island, especially the waterfront luxury estates on Johns Island, deep water properties that we have surrounding that. That's what's left of it. Johns Island is the more undeveloped area that is surrounding Kiowa and Seabrook. And then I spend some time also closer to the downtown historic district of Charleston, and then right outside over the Cooper River Bridge in Mount Pleasant, Old Village area.
Oh, so many beautiful homes all over the place, just all over the place. All right. So the big question is, how does interior design affect the properties? And your thoughts on, I don't know, what percentage maybe of the homes that you sell are professionally designed?
I can tell you just time after time, when I see properties that have been professionally decorated by interior designers, it not only makes a property sell faster, makes it more marketable, but you get more money, and you will get your money twofold in return. It is absolutely imperative, especially in our market, to people almost expect it. And then they can envision themselves more so in there than something that doesn't look as inviting or warm. I also think that less is more. So designers typically know they always know what to put out for staging, specifically when you're going to sell a house, what might be too busy. Especially it really means something for the people that might intend to make some money off of it. Maybe they're just purchasing it to flip it. But I think it is absolutely key, and I would never not use a designer in a property that I was getting ready to sell.
Yeah.
Well, I think they stand out so much because when you're looking, we have so much information, so many visuals in front of us. So when you're looking at real estate and those photos come up, and there's usually one of 40 photos, and as you're flipping through, immediately, if there's a well-designed room, immediately, and all of a sudden all of the pictures flow and they all look well. Or you can look at something and the lighting just isn't right, or they got the beachy tchotchkes that make it that cheapen it so much. Where I do think, like you said, if it's beautifully done in the beginning, you'll get more money for it, because other people can't necessarily do it, and they feel like, wow, this has already been done for me, so I don't have to worry about coming up with the designs because they've already been done.
You know what I think is a really what comes to my mind, and I wonder if you agree with this, is, so my parents live in Quogue, New York, which is in the heart of the Hamptons in Long Island, right? And my parents work for Corcoran still. My dad is still shaking and baking in the real estate market. And so whenever I go to visit, they're always like, "Oh, Kelly, there's an open house, this house, $16 million. Let's go check it out." And because they know, of course, I love to see all kinds of different design, but inevitably over and over again, we go to these open houses and I'm like, I'm not impressed with the interiors at all. Now, granted, in West Hampton, Southampton, East Hampton, they're very small resort towns. So there isn't a lot of places to go and buy furniture and beautiful decor if you didn't have a designer. So like, for example, when I was working on my parents' house, Joanne and I sourced a whole bunch of stuff and just had it delivered to a receiving warehouse, just like we do here. And I bought it, from all over the country. And when we were doing our client's house in Kiowa, we did the same thing. There's a lot more in Charleston, and we tapped into a lot of them when we did the photo shoot, like GDC Home and Fritz Porter and
Megan Moulton surely helped us out,
and Mitchell Hill.
Absolutely.
And those, but they're still relatively small in terms of showroom space. So given the volume, especially in Kiowa, I've spent so much time there, of the homes there and how large they are people hiring designers from in town, out of town? Do you know if they're buying the interior stuff in Charleston, or are they doing kind of like what we do and just designing it all and having it delivered?
Well, I think it can be a mixture. A lot of our properties, like I mentioned, they're secondary market. They're secondary properties. And so we sell a lot of our properties fully furnished. So
that's right. Yes.
Yeah. So kind of when you think about, maybe somebody says, "Oh, I like that couch, but I don't like those pillows or those lamps," people can sometimes piecemeal things together. But I do think that we have a variety of clients that say, "I'm going to use my designer from back up in Boston," or "I'm going to use my designer from San Francisco," that that they're accustomed to. But I do think that there are some very talented people or resources here that they can also use it locally in Charleston, or designers that are from different areas can, like you said, outsource to some of the people and places, all of the businesses that we have. I mean, when you get into things that are very custom, as you know, they are going to be made somewhere else anyways. So,
and you really can't do it without an interior designer.
Yeah. And we do have so many people that are from different areas. They're just going to ask you, can you send me 4 or 5 samples, and we pick one. It's almost like an easier situation than most for not their primary home.
Yeah. Well, you shared some photos with us of a couple of properties that were on the market that sold and that were professionally appointed. So do you want to tell us about those? We'll have Russ pull up the photos here.
Perfect. Well, this is 37 Salt Cedar. It's located on Kiowa Island. It is a beautiful home that a client of mine had completely renovated and professionally had decorated. And they didn't do the entire home in here. They only did the first level, but it was absolutely enough to attract the attention. As you can see, the kitchen as well. And as you can see, very simple. So people can also envision their items inside of the property too. So it's almost like a blank canvas, but nice core hard goods. They can see a professional as you had decorated it with.
Yeah.
Are you finding that your clients, your customers, are looking for anything in particular, or is there a trend? Like, do your customers get turned off by certain things? Or are they looking for certain things? Like, do they want white kitchens, or do they want a certain color hardwood floor, or is carpet like absolutely out? Are there certain things that you like to see as a realtor because you're like, yes, I can sell this quickly because it has this, or I'm nervous because it has this?
Yeah, that's a great question. What I feel is that if the quality is there, they can always work around it. So
Yeah.
if they might not be the color hardwood floors that they want, paint them a different color or have them
Hmm.
stained, but keep those nice hardwood floors, and then you've cut down typically on your cost. I recently had a client do that, and her architect actually had mentioned to her, these are really good quality floors. So she went to her designer and they ended up keeping them, and they painted the floors all black.
Wow.
Nice.
They
Do you
look
find
gorgeous.
that your customers are wanting light and bright, or are they do they shy away from colors ever?
I think that they like the shell of the home to be light
Hmm.
and bright, and then they can then accessorize. And I've even had some clients pull their properties off the market because they have had a little bit too much going on, sometimes to my suggestions, sometimes to designers' suggestions, and they get that Chantilly lace color completely
Hmm.
throughout the property to just
Yeah.
paint it white, make you feel like you're in the coastal living
Yep.
and
Yeah.
your setting, and then they can then accessorize it as be.
Yeah. I think
Cool.
it is a good point, though, that if something is very well done, then I don't think the homeowner needs to panic about how it will
Yeah.
present itself for sale. I
Yeah.
hate when people say, well, I don't want, we're going to move in 5 to 7 years. And for resale, I don't want to do, X. And I'm thinking,
If it's
you're
well
going to do
done.
vanilla for 5 to 7 years because you're afraid?
Yeah.
Just do it if it's well done.
Yeah.
You never know. You might have a buyer that has zero design sense and is so happy that you have navy blue cabinets
Yeah.
and some cool wallpaper.
And one of the things I think too is window treatments, I think, always make such a difference and make a
Yes.
home feel complete. And it's really hard to do ready-made window treatments. It's another topic we've had. They've got to be custom done, lined. The hardware has to be nice. And I think when it has that, because that generally stays with the
Mhm.
home, that just gives people like a lot of relief. Like, oh God, those are so beautiful. I don't have to try to figure that out.
Yeah.
Agree. I couldn't
Okay,
agree
so you got
more.
another good one for us? Okay, so what's the
I
next
do.
home?
I do. So this next
I
one
love this
is
one.
a
Mm.
waterfront. Thank you. I am very partial to this home. It was very special to me. But these clients had purchased it from the original builder, who had absolutely had a fantastic eye for design. They were in the design business, and luckily, my client hired a designer and also had very good taste herself. And they did modify it a little bit, but it was an absolute gorgeous execution on her end, and made it so easy for me to sell. I mean, the details within this home
Mm.
alone was just fabulous, but they didn't need to have every wall covered because of this
Right.
gorgeous reclaimed wood that they have in there,
Yeah.
and they understood that, and it makes it all more appreciated
And I
when
think the
buyers were walking in.
Yes.
the views are a big deal too. I'm sure views can sell a home as well.
Oh, big time.
Absolutely. It had some great views, and they did build a dock, which helped as well with their
Yeah.
sale. But they
So if you're,
just to put it in perspective. Oh, sorry.
go ahead.
Just to put it in perspective, we resold that home for double the price that they purchased it for
No
2 years
way.
afterwards.
2 years
So,
doubled.
mhm.
So if you're not watching us on video, this house has a lot of like rough hewn, reclaimed wood beams, and it's on the walls, but the decor
Mm.
is very simple and striking. There's no window treatments. The island in the kitchen is kind of like an aqua blue, but it has marble on top, and then the other cabinets are faced in that kind of
Mm.
rough wood, and so it's got this like very rustic but contemporary
rustic elegance
thing going on, and it's totally different. But yeah, and it doesn't even need window treatments. It's so well done.
Beautiful, just beautiful.
Yeah. How long was that one on the market?
Yeah.
Probably not at all.
No, I believe I had around 32 showings at that property. So everybody wanted to see it that wanted to maybe escape like the hustle and bustle of Charleston, because we do have people that have properties in town and then they want properties a little bit further out, but not too far out, so they can escape. And most every person who looked did come from downtown Charleston to see the property.
Oh, that's
so
really interesting.
It was less than a month listed.
Wow.
Yeah. Because Kiowa Island, if you're not familiar, is about 45 minutes from the heart of, downtown Charleston. But it's a totally different vibe. It's very serene. It's very quiet. It's, herons and deer and everything. It's just beautiful.
Yeah, it is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah. All right. One more you want to show us.
Yes. So this one is located on Johns Island. It's a newer development that we have called Kiowa River. And this is an adorable bungalow cottage that was beautifully appointed by the original owner. Funny enough, I've sold this property twice this year. It was very easy for me to sell both times.
Yeah. I was just looking at Kiowa River, actually, the development. Jen sent me a link to it. The website is very impressive.
That's so funny. I think my daughter just went to a car show there.
Because it's halfway between Kiowa and downtown. So you're only 20 minutes away. It's closer.
A little closer.
Yeah. Oh. But it still has some water views, right?
It does.
River?
You have the Kiowa River. All of their amenities are overlooking the Kiowa River, and you can look over to the other side and you do see Kiowa Island, but it has waterfront pools, a bar, beautiful gym overlooking the river, a dock, a beautiful amenity center, and they're getting ready to build a new hotel with luxury spa there as well.
So I'm assuming that you kind of get sucked into having to give design advice to your clients, whether it be to help them sell or when they buy it to give them advice. So what are you telling your customers these days?
Well, first, I fully disclose I am not a professional designer. I love design. I absolutely have enjoyed. I built a brand new home myself not long ago, and I've had a lot of fun with it. I, of course, hired an interior designer, even though I look at dozens and dozens of homes every day, whether it be in a magazine or person. But I absolutely think that just that flair is so important, and it sets it different. Like Kiowa River is a community that they're all white houses, and so they all have the exterior kind of the same, and when you walk inside, they're all completely different. So it's a lot of fun.
So nice.
A lot of personality. It's great when a house has a lot of personality. It just makes you feel good to be in there. So we're getting close to the end.
Yeah. I had a quick question though.
Yeah.
I'm curious. Do you find that there's a general margin of price wise that a house that's professionally decorated versus that buyer or the seller enjoys when, do they get their money back? Do you feel like you said that one house sold for double what they bought it for once they put their flair on it?
They did. They put their flair on it and refined it because, a professional, as you both ladies know, that things can be modified and small things can make an exorbitant difference and make things more inviting to someone. So it can be as simple as a professional designer coming into a home that is already furnished and you moved things around, and you can tell immediately. It just shows better. And you have the eye, and you know where things appropriately go and what walls might capture a photo better than another, and what might be too many pictures on one wall, and as opposed to another wall. So I feel like, the time and the money will come back to you in an extreme amount. I would say, you put in, just for example, if you put in 50,000, you could into a $1 million house. I'm sure you could probably get 20% more.
Yeah.
And we
just
sell
did
things
that
fully furnished too.
for a client.
Yeah.
We went in and we changed all the lighting in the whole place with bigger, more statement lighting, painted the whole house, painted all the kitchen cabinets.
That was pretty.
And a few tired pieces of furniture, just kind of inserted a quickie, like nothing expensive, just a newer piece. And did we do anything else?
I think
it looks like a totally different house.
Painting, lighting, whatever. Yeah, they're absolutely going to get more for that house just based on those changes that they made.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
agree.
So if people want to connect with you, Kathleen, what's the best way? Instagram,
the best way
email,
to reach out to me.
Your website.
Email is fabulous. I also have my cell phone, my Instagram. I'm on all the social media platforms: Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. So,
you're
I
Kathleen.
feel like that's very important.
Kathleen
DeWitt at Acres Ellis.
Okay, and then your Instagram is
at Kathleen DeWitt Real Estate. Okay.
Awesome. Well, I think it's fascinating, and I would like to have this chat with a realtor, like in a different location as well, to know kind of like to see what the trends are across the country.
Well, we when you're talking about vacation rentals, which I know Acres Ellis does, but I don't think you get involved in the rentals, do you, Kathleen?
No, I have a history and a background of it just because I really need to know the financial perspective of it for buyers from that standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
But I do, to a point, because I do share with them, you don't want to put in the most expensive paintings or little accent pieces in rental property.
Yeah. But I will say, anytime I've looked on VRBO or Airbnb, there's so many badly designed ones.
Oh, that's awful.
If they have a little frilly valance and like a gold wall color, I just can't. I just can't. And you just keep, you keep going through. And so I think if you have a professionally designed rental, you definitely are going to make your money because there's so many bad ones, and yours will really stand out. It'll stand out for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. So hang with us.
What I tell my buyers.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to do our quotes that we do at the end of every episode. I like both of them. You can pick which one you want.
Okay, I'll do the funny one. Saw a girl waiting in line at Panera, and I was like, "Wow, I'm gonna be fit one day." Then she got an apple on the side instead of a baguette, and I knew the fit life would never be the life for me. Isn't that so true? We go to Panera all the time, and they go chips, bread, or apple, and I go, I know I should say apple, but I really don't want to.
But you know what I do? I say the apple and I never eat it. It's still on the plate. And then like, should I bring it home? I can't give it back. Like, I never know what to do with it.
That's why the fit life is not for us.
Yeah. So a serious quote. This is a wonderful reminder from Helen Keller. There's nothing wrong with wanting more. It's totally okay to want more for yourself, your life, your career, or your health. But don't get so caught up in striving for the next level that you forget the magic of where you are now. Celebrate where you are right now and have gratitude for the hard work, tough decisions, and commitment to yourself that you got here, and gratitude for the opportunities ahead. You used to dream about where you are right now. I really love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I think, when
you used to dream about where you are right now.
Yeah.
But yet we're never satisfied.
Yeah. We're just always keep moving on. So try to take the time and appreciate
and just love where you are.
Love where you
it's
are.
Okay. It's all great.
It took you a while to get there. So,
be happy.
Yeah, be grateful for it.
I love that. I love Helen Keller.
She was,
You can look up Helen Keller quotes. They're endless.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Well, thank you, Kathleen, for joining us. I know being on a podcast and especially being on video is like
Scary.
nerve-wracking, but we love to hear your perspective and hear all about our one of our most favorite towns. So
Yes. Thank you so much. And speaking of my favorite towns, I'm leaving right after this podcast.
Yep.
And I'm headed to Somerville, which is just outside of Charleston, for my new grandson. And then I will be also visiting my new granddaughter, who is 4 months old, and she's on James Island. So I'll be hanging around there. I might run into you somewhere. Who knows? Because you're on James Island, right, Kathleen?
I am. Yes.
Yes.
Just right around the corner from your
Awesome.
daughter.
Okay.
Well, everybody, thank you for listening. And if you would take just a minute to go on to Apple iTunes and give us a 5-star review, we would so much appreciate it. And we would love your feedback anytime. Email us at podcast@kandrak-cole.com.
And thank you, Design KC,
Yeah.
the team there, for sponsoring this episode. We're very excited because we're going to be judging the awards again this year.
Yep.
So yeah, check out that magazine. It's really, really a good one.
It really
a
is.
good one.
All right. Have a great week and can't wait to see pictures of that baby.
Yeah. Thanks
All
for
right.
listening, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Join Joanne and Kelly for a new episode every other Friday as they continue to explore the nuances of the interior design business with the goal of informing, inspiring, and entertaining their listeners. See their work at kandrak-cole.com and engage with them on Facebook and Instagram at Kandrak Cole.